if you look at the prevailing winds.
Yeah, so they were blowing it where? What side of the valley? The south side of the valley?
To the north. The prevailing winds are from south to north.
So they were blowing it in the south to make sure it got in the upper atmosphere.
Well, no,
in the middle.
No, the cloud seeding is the prevailing winds are from the southwest. So the mountaintop cloud seeding equipment was carefully positioned, right? So it would be upstream of the ski areas, upwind of the ski areas. And in addition to that, they hired private planes. And we had small planes out of Carson City Airport, Douglas County Airport, chasing specific clouds, trying to seed them. And we not only were worried about the environmental effects, we thought, wow, if there's cloud seeding this aggressively, isn't this stealing water from the rest of Nevada?
Well, I suppose it is. It's removing it out of the ambient atmosphere.
I mean, do the ski areas have the right to take the water out of the area, the air, upwind of some areas that desperately need the water?
Yeah.
I mean, whether or not it does affect them, there's some issues here about morality, whether or not it's really ethical to do this kind of thing.
Right.
But more than that, we were worried, what about this microbial killing capacity of silver iodide?
It's going to kill everything. Anything it touches, it's going to absolutely electrify and destroy.
So we asked the experts, well, what about this stuff? You know, it's poisoned. It kills bacteria. It can't be good for us. How dare you do this to us?
Yeah.
They go, well, you have no proof. Where are your peer-reviewed abstracts showing that silver iodide is deadly? Well, we don't have any because there's been no studies.
We don't want to be your guinea
You're
pigs
talking
either.
about a guinea pig situation again, with like what's happening with 5G today.
Right.
Where now they're introducing a much higher frequency system that's currently available, so that they can get more data going through their networks. Right. The more oscillations you can have, the more data you can put in, more ones and zeros you can throw in it. Right.
Right.
So the higher and higher you get on the gigahertz range, they're going to go up to the terahertz. Right.
Yeah.
The worse off it's going to get.
Yeah, so we didn't want to be the guinea pigs for their environmental experiment.
Yeah.
Sure.
And they didn't ask for our opinion. They assured us that the dilution of the silver iodide was such that it wouldn't make anybody sick. And they told us, and I've got the newspaper article, that sure, if you put in a goldfish bowl, it would kill the fish, but if it's diluted enough, it won't be harmful. I'm going, you know, water hits the mountains, it flows into a small stream. The small stream flows into another stream. It all goes downhill. Who's to say this stuff couldn't be concentrated and wind up in a specific location at a high enough concentration where it could affect the fish or it could affect the microbes? And of course they wouldn't answer our questions.
Really interesting thought. Absolutely.
Have they done it since?
Well, since then, silver's been studied over the last 30 years. So
yeah.
That'd be an interesting thing to look into.
Yeah, there's a zebrafish that's kind of a useful fish for studying silver iodide. So that's exactly what they did. They put the silver iodide in with the zebrafish and they died.
Yeah.
At certain levels, they kept testing different levels?
Yeah, so there are assurances that silver iodide is perfectly safe because it's all diluted. Well, there's some holes in that theory. But be it as it may.
Okay, so clearly it does have an effect on life.
Yeah.
Okay, because if you just do a quick study now, you can see that they're talking about it being a substitute. In some of the circles, talking about it being a substitute for antibiotics because it's so effective at killing bacteria and viral infections in human beings.
Right.
They're talking about how effective it is at doing this right now, and they're using it as supplements.
Yeah.
Colloidal silver.
And on my page, I go, these people are crazy. And just because it hasn't killed anybody yet doesn't mean that it won't have adverse effects in the long run.
Yeah.
Because once these nanoparticles are introduced into the body, we don't have any efficient mechanism for clearing them. They get into the tissues and they stay there. And the immune system recognizes them. The macrophages will attack them, but they can't do anything about it. It will hurl itself against this particle die, send out its messages of distress, and recruit more immunological surveillance to try to hit it harder. So what have you got? For all intents and purposes, it looks like you've got a chronic viral infection.
Got inflammation.
But no
Well,
virus
the
can be
solution
found.
to it is simple. There it is, actually. Oxygen. Oxygen will oxidize all things, including silver, over time. So if you introduce enough oxygen to it, it will oxidize that particle and make it useless, just like you would with rust.
But you're not a fan of ozone
oxide.
therapy.
Ozone therapy.
Well,
The idea.
Well, you know, the studies on nanoparticles so far show that they are not removed, and I haven't heard of any therapy or any concepts that claim they can. In fact, when they talk about nanoparticles as a delivery mechanism for medicines, they say this is the major factor, is we have to have biodegradable nanoparticles, because if we use, you know, standard ones, the ones, you know, the metal,